Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today I'm just going to talk about a subject that I've noticed creeping into the comments a little bit recently, and especially with what news has come out in the stock market this week, especially as a political point of view as well, with Brexit, and a little bit of a red week in the stock market on the UK front. I've noticed a lot of people ask me, what is the possibility of a stock market crash in the UK coming, or in the stock market in the UK in 2021? And I've noticed it popping up a lot more, like I said. And another thing as well is that this was also a question that was asked in my patrons group, and I actually did a video in my exclusive content for my Patreon members the other day about this probability of a UK stock market crash. But I thought that there's just a lot of demand here on the main channel as well for it, that I'll give my opinions on the current situation and where I see everything going. So if you could smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Just thought it was a good little topic really for a Sunday video, and we'll take a look. So the first thing I am going to say with the whole kind of situation is that the main really key thing about when you talk about crashes is don't panic about a crash and don't fear a crash and don't try time the market. One of the big things that I saw, and this happened to, we told the story on Patreon once again. There's a lot of good content on there. We were telling the story about one of the Patreon members, and what they actually did is they actually thought, well, lockdown 2.0 is coming in, and when this lockdown 2.0 comes into the UK, what that's going to do is actually send the UK stock market down. Now, a lot of you guys might know what actually happened in that situation is lockdown 2.0 came in. The stock market didn't move, and they sold a lot of their positions at the time, hoping to get it for like 5% cheaper, maybe 10% cheaper. And then what happened the next week is we had the vaccine news. Now, from the vaccine news, we saw companies like, National Express go up like 30-40% on that, Jet2, for example, and other companies that a lot of us are in the UK front, a lot of them companies went up. And because they tried to time it just to get a stock, 5% cheaper, that cost them a huge amount. And that's the first thing I'm going to say about a stock market crash, is that even if you think there is going to be one, don't try time it. You can be a little bit more cautious. You can build a little bit of a cash pile up. You can maybe trim some positions a little bit. But stocks that you're willing to hold for a 5-year period, don't try time getting an average 5% lower, 10% lower, because that's a really big risk. Because sure, it might work out for you a couple of times, but if something big happens, like we saw the other day or a couple of weeks back when that vaccine news came out, it totally kills you in the stock market and your positions and some great averages you have, COVID averages that you probably will never get again unless there's a big economy crash in a few years' time, or another pandemic, for example. So that's the first thing I'm going to say is, like, don't try time the market. Keep your companies that you want to hold for long term, keep holding them. That is the main priority. Now, obviously the Brexit thing is, well, I say the Brexit thing, it's the thing that's been going around for like the last 4 years, and pretty much the reason why the UK stock market hasn't performed really amazing, because there's just so much uncertainty around it. But yeah, I mean, Brexit is the big thing that's causing the panic, really. And that's the thing with the stock market and investors. Investors do not like uncertainty. They like knowing concrete what's happening. This is why when you see earnings that are thrown out and there's bad guidance or there's some bad news, like you see investors go, oh, I don't like that, I'm going to sell. And exactly the same thing in the UK front. Now, it's not gone down really when you look at the stock chart on like a FTSE, for example. It's not gone down really that much, but there's that kind of uncertainty creeping in with Brexit, and if there's going to be a no deal Brexit. Now, we'll probably get more and more news out of that, and if there is a deal, I'd probably see them kind of fears kind of go out of the window very quickly. Now, the thing is if we have a no deal Brexit, that's probably where we see a little bit of uncertainty coming in, and we'll see people and investors kind of going, so what does it mean for this country? I have shares in a company that operates in this country, and that's where the panic comes in. Investors don't like uncertainty. So the thing is that if we get a deal, uncertainty goes. We know where we're at. The no deal pushes it a little bit further, because that's when we see that uncertainty ramp up. So if we see Brexit carried out, especially with a no deal, that's obviously going to cause uncertainty, and that's probably where we see maybe a 5% drop, maybe 10% drop. At no point do I see a massive crash. Especially like a COVID level. That's when we're talking pandemic. People don't know what's happening. How bad is it going to be? The economy is totally shutting down. That's a totally different scenario. Brexit is a bit more of a short-term uncertainty, but the thing is if we have a no deal Brexit, I still think the UK will be in a very good position. And from a deal point of view, if there is a deal, I think it'll be the UK will still be fine with a deal. I think both routes, whatever will happen, the UK isn't going to crash and burn in the next kind of 6 weeks. The country will carry on going through the rebuild of the coronavirus, and you could argue, whichever one, the growth might be, the UK economy might not grow as quick down that route, but hey, overall, it's still going to be, the economy is still going to go in the right direction, and the stocks will, in the long term, start moving in the right direction. So from that point of view, I think that's the path that I've set out. We have the deal option, the no deal option, and how extended that is, and that will then create how much of a dip we have. And the last point I'm going to make is that if the worst case scenario happens and there's a lot of uncertainty and it's dragged out and the stock market does dip, then obviously be in the position ready for that. If you do think there's going to be a crash, never totally sell out. I see this all the time, like, oh, there's going to be a crash, so I'm going to sell out. And I saw people do that 3 months ago, and they're the ones that are really being stung by that. Never sell out of all your positions. But you can always go, well, the chances of having a crash are getting a little bit higher, so I'm just going to sell 10% of my profit there. I'm going to have a little bit more cash now. That's always something that you can do, especially when the stock market gets to an overvalued point. The reward to risk gets, obviously a lot closer. That's always a key thing you can do, but never do that, And if a dip does happen, then make sure you take, the opportunity there. If you took the dip in the COVID, very easily, a lot of you guys that saw that you were buying in, April, May, even months after that, if you guys were buying in them dips, you've seen a lot of success. The best time to be buying stocks is not 52-week highs. It's to buy when there's the fear, when there's the uncertainty, and that's when you get stocks at a better price. So if anything, you should probably be welcoming a dip. Those are the best times as an investor. I hate buying at 52-week highs. If you buy at 52-week highs, you're always the first one to get stung when there's bad news. So, if the bad news is already there, perfect. And sure, you might go down a little bit in the short term over the next week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe even 3 months. But in the long term, they will always recover and they'll come back in, and the great companies will come back strong, and the stock price will eventually catch up with it. So I thought I'd just cover that because I did have a lot of questions about the Brexit side of it, how much the UK stock market has been on a good run, and we due a pullback. So hopefully that cleared a few things up anyway. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you can smash the like button, that'd be absolutely amazing. If you are new, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.